Okay, we did do most of these in class together, but I wanted to go through and still make a video because I know some of you guys said that you would watch it, so here you go. I have to talk a little quiet because baby is taking a nap, but I think you can hear me just fine. Okay. Part 1, graph each of the following, identify whether or not it's a function, then evaluate the graph at any specified domain value. Okay. So, first thing I do when I do these is I look here, and it tells me what's happening where. So I can tell on this graph there's kind of a breaking point at -2, and everything to this side of -2 or less than -2 is going to be doing this. So let's worry about that first. So this is y equals x plus 5. So if I'm graphing that line, I know it has a y-intercept of 5, and it has a slope of 1. But the only problem with that is that, I'm not talking about that part of the graph, remember? I'm talking about everything to the left of -2. So one option that I might do is continue drawing this graph like this, okay, through here, down into there like that. But then I know this part over here is not going to be part of it, because again, that's only for things that are less than -2. Another way to do that is, if you didn't understand that, you could just plug in numbers that are less than -2 and see what happens. And we did that a lot in class. So for example, if I plug in, what is that? -1, -2, -3, -4, -5 right here. If I put -5 right here, do you see how -5 plus 5 is 0? And it doesn't take me anywhere. So I could put a dot there. And then let's say I wanted to go for this dot right here that's on the graph. Well, that is -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's -8 right here. So again, if I put -8 into the graph right here, -8 plus 5 is, you guessed it, right here, -3. So I could get my points on the graph that way too. I want to talk about this one specific point right here, the breaking point at -2. So when I'm looking closer at these, I ask myself, if x is -2, do I plug it into the top equation or the bottom equation? Well, -2 would make sense for this equation, because this one is or equal to. Okay, so that means the line I just graphed, -2 is not a part of it. It's left out of it. So when that happens, you put an open dot on the graph, signifying that that's not a part of that pink line. Okay, everything to the right of that graph is this. So I know it has a y-intercept of -1 and a slope of -2. That's down 2 and 1 over. Down 2 and 1 over. And there is that line. And again, -2 is kind of a part of that purple line, but not a part of the pink line, and they both extend forever. Okay, now we have to find f of 3. So f of 3 would be right here. There's 3. Where's the line at when we're at 3? We can't quite tell, but it looks like it'd be that one way down there at the bottom. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like it'd be -7. But since I can't quite tell, I'm going to put -7 into the equation. So again, plugging in 3. So that belongs here, because 3 is greater than or equal to -2. So what do I get when I put the number 3 right there? I get -2 times 3 minus 1, and then that's -6 minus 1, which is, so that means that we got it right. It is -7. F of -4. So for -4, here's -4 right here. And I can see when I go up, it goes up 1. So that must be 1. And just to prove that to myself, If I put -4 here, I get 1. Okay, f of -2. F of -2 is the breaking point right there. Do you remember what graph I said it was a part of? Well, it was a part of the purple one. But either way, that's going to be 3 because it's 3 up at -2. Okay? So, yeah, just to prove that to you, -2 times -2 minus 1 would be 4 minus 1, which is 3. Okay, there's problem number 1. You can now try problem number 2 if you haven't already on your own, just to see if you got it correct, okay? And just, we ended up doing that in class, so you guys should already have the correct answers for all of these, but it's really similar. Okay, go ahead and skip ahead to the next page, which is, which one? I don't know if it's this one for you guys or not. I don't have the packet at home, I just have these pictures. Here we go, number 3, that would make sense. Okay, I'll do 3 as well. So again, looking at 3, I can see that my breaking point here is the number 2, right there. So to the left of 2, less than 2, it's doing the bottom equation. And to the right of 2, it's doing the top equation. So let's start with greater than 2. So let's start with this top equation here. And again, that's everything that's going on over there on that side of the graph. So looking at this equation, I could plug in points, or I know in point-slope form, I'm given a point and a slope. So what point am I given here? I'm given the point 2, 6. So 2, 6 is going to be here. And then the slope is at the beginning, right there, which is -4, which is down 4. And 1 over, and I'm going to do that just a few times. And then here is everything that's greater than 2. And then I'm kind of wondering, is 2 a part of that equation, or is it a part of the bottom equation? Well, since it's or equal to, it's a part of this equation, so I'm going to put a nice filled in dot on that one, meaning that that red line includes the number 2. Okay, going to the bottom equation. So the bottom equation is less than 2. I see it has a y-intercept of 4 and a slope. Remember, if this is the slope, that's a -1/3. So that's down 1 and over 3. So I can kind of tell I'm going in the wrong direction here because I'm only going to be using this graph until I hit 2. Okay, and when it's 2, it's not a part of this line, so it's an open dot. But I could carry it out in the other direction, like this, and there it is. And this does extend towards infinity and negative infinity. F of -4. Okay, here's -4. And where did that get us to? That is +6. So again, we could go ahead and plug -4 into this equation here, and we could come up with the right answer. But it's not looking like it is actually right on the line, is it? Oh, there's a mistake here. Hopefully you guys caught it. Sorry. So the slope was -1/3, right? So it got a little confusing in there at 2. I'm going to have to use like a more fine tip. Okay, so we went like, if you can look right here, it's -1 and then 3 over. So I didn't stop here. I technically should stop here, okay? I mean, I did stop right here, but that's only because of the domain. We had to stop at 2. But if we would have continued on, I would have gone a full 3 over. So when I make my points for this one, I have to go 1 up and 3 that way, and 1 up and 3 that way. And now here is where the pink line actually should be. And the reason why I knew I'd made a mistake, that's actually a good example, is because when I plug in -4, I went up here, and I know I wouldn't get a whole number. How did I know that? because I just pictured, okay, -4 belongs here. So I plug in -4, and that's not going to get me a whole number. So remember, it's negative, and then I plugged in -4, because it's this negative and then that negative, which is a positive, and now it's 4/3 plus 4. And 4/3 is 1 1/3. So that is 5 1/3, which makes sense because that looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/3 up. 8. Okay. So when I plug in 8, 8's way over here, right? So the line in the graph doesn't go down that far, but it's going to be a pretty big negative number. So the only thing I can do, I can only use that one technique on this one where I plug it into the equation for 8. So if I put 8 here, what do I get? Well, 8 minus 2 is 6, and -4 times 6 plus 6 is -24 plus 6, which is -18. And then f of 2, remember here's 2. 2 is that breaking point number. And we said 2 was part of the top line, the red graph. So f of 2 is going to be however high that is up, which is the number 6. Okay, there's the first part of the study guide. You can try this one on your own now. And you also have the answer to that from the work we did in class, but that'll be the first video of the section.